Hey everyone, how y'all doing? If you don't know me, my name's Tom Springer, and this is Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. It's basically a show designed to help people who are learning about their abilities or just want to know some stuff come on and have a comfortable place to talk, a good community to talk about. I do have a guest on tonight. Her name is Roxanne Jasparo. She's out of Scituate, Rhode Island. A little background first before we get to her. She is actually traveling right now, so she's actually coming to talk to us while she's traveling. Luckily, she's not driving. Don't worry about that part. She's just traveling, so she's not multitasking right now. It is pretty dark out. We'll have some light. You'll see her. She looks like she's in an aura of mystery, which is pretty awesome right now. So, but anyways, my guest tonight, Roxanne Jasparo, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her on now. Hi, Roxanne.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Oh my God, I look like I'm in a spaceship. I'm in the back seat of my car, so I am not driving.
Right.
So I apologize. We were supposed to be where we were supposed to be an hour ago, but travel. It's traveling. So it happens.
That's traveling. So I let you know, some people are going to be shouting in to say hi. So Ajang is saying hi. She's actually from India. So hi, Ajang. Thanks for watching. Nicole Springer, that's my wife. She's saying hi, Roxanne. And
hi, Nicole.
William Nighthawk. What's up, brother? He's saying, hey, brother. So how you doing?
Oh, I remember him from last week. Hi, Nighthawk.
Yep. This must be one of yours. Paula Nadeau?
Yes. Hi, Paula.
Yep.
How are you?
She's saying hi, Roxanne. So she's on here watching. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the show. But so I'm going to explain how I randomly found you out of everything. Hi, Patricia. Patricia McDowell saying hi. Looking forward to the show. So Roxanne just popped up as a possible friend suggestion, but she wasn't tied to anybody else I knew at all, which is very rare. Normally you have one or two people that are tied. And for some reason, I just felt drawn to click on her. And once I did, I really liked just the initial opening of all of her stuff. So then I started doing the research. I started clicking on all of her websites and everything else. For those of you who have actually been reading everything, you know that she actually owns two businesses, Bewitched of Scituate, right here, that you can actually go out to at bewitchedofscituate.com. And then she does have another one, and it's Crafty Witches Inc. at craftywitches.com. So those are the two that you can go out to find out, like I did, more about her. It's a fantastic site. Both of them are. And I just started reading more and more about her because she actually does a lot of her personal information in there as well, kind of how she came about with knowing what she had, her support system she had, and everything else. It was just fantastic. So I had to reach out to her. I did a friend request. She was gracious enough to say yes, not knowing what she was about to get herself into. And then I reached out, and I was just like, hey, this is what I do. I'm not really crazy. I just look like this. But would you like to do a show? So after talking to her and everything else, she has really said, yep. So she was nice enough to let me bring her on my show, and we're going to get some information. So already our first question, but it's for you. Can we nickname Roxanne as Rocky? Love you, Roxanne.
Yes, sure. Whatever works.
Whatever you got it. You can call her Rocky.
You can call me Rocky. I might be Rocky sometimes, so it works.
So that's kind of how I found her. We have talked a couple of times since. We've messaged tons of times, and I'm very excited to have her on my show because the more and more I talk to her, it seems the more I'm drawn to her and the more I want to know more. So Roxanne, I'm going to go ahead and as soon as we say hi to Miss April. Hi, April.
Hi, April.
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself, and we'll see where the show goes.
All right. Excellent. Well, my name is Roxanne Jasparo, and like you said, I do own a shop called Bewitched of Scituate. I opened my shop probably about 5 years ago. I did a lot of like home parties and things like that before I actually had a location. And it was just kind of really important for me and to have a location where people can come and have a village witch. And I just think that, one of my main missions is to show the importance of having a village witch in every village. That's,
yep.
If we could, if we go back, hundreds of years and we had them, right? Whether they had a sign, that they were the village witch. She just knew it was a whisper, right?
Right.
So my main thing is just to bring that back to 2022 and forward, and it not be a scary thing.
Right. Very cool. Yep.
So that's what I do. At least that's what I have my shop for, but I have many other things that I do.
Right. So you also have a second shop too.
No, so Crafty Witches
Okay.
is actually is the first business I started when I started making my hats. And that was in memory of my grandmother. So the reason why I still keep it is because that's the brand within Bewitched. So my hats will always be Crafty Witch hats.
Okay.
I sign everything Crafty Witch, from your Crafty Witch. So it's become kind of like this name label now inside my business of Bewitched.
Okay. And now I want you to, you and I talked about this already, but I wanted you to share it with the audience. I want you to share, because I asked you the question about your grandma, who you list as Gram the Witch.
Gram's the Witch, yes.
Gram's the Witch. So I kind of want you to do a little introduction of her, as well as how she inspired you and what she did, because you write into there what she did for you, how she'd always bring you stuff. So I want you to share that story.
So my grandma's a witch. She always told me since I was little, I was told her I felt different. I felt like I was like the milkman's child. I didn't fit in the family. And she goes, you're different. And, we would talk, and then, she'd be like, well, you're a witch and I'm a witch, but we can't tell anybody. Nobody needs to know our secret. And so it became this building secret. And every year for Halloween, I was always a witch. She always was a witch. And as I got older, I realized I really am a witch, and not just on Halloween. On Halloween, I got to express more of my outdoor view of, wearing my witch hat and letting the world know. But she really inspired me to, believe in myself and to put that, maybe a title or a label on it. And it was okay. Even though she said some people are not going to, take it so well, because we have this thought that witches are evil and they don't do good things. There's such a big stigma around it. I remember when I was younger and, people used to say, oh, you're a witch. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. I would instantly go in defense, but I'm not like one of those bad ones and this and that, But, she really inspired me. She used to go to all her little trips into the Cape and Gloucester, Massachusetts, and Salem. That's where she's from. And her whole family from literally the Mayflower. They got off and they stayed in that location and didn't move out to Connecticut until she had my mom and my uncles and stuff.
Oh,
but, she was an inspiration, and I love her for that.
Yeah.
And, and she'd bring me back books. She'd bring me back books and all kinds of things from Salem. So, but she would never tell me, oh, go this direction or go that direction. She just kind of gave me material, told me to read it, and almost like a self-discovery of the witch inside me. Right.
Outstanding. Yeah. I wanted you to share that because I know that meant a lot as far as her encouraging you at such a young age. I wanted that to be brought up because that's important for a lot of the viewers and listeners that are watching now and will be watching to know that it's okay. It's okay. And it's, and I personally believe, especially nowadays, the stigma of the old style witch stereotype that we have from TVs and movies and everything else is really fading. I really think people are understanding that it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. We have psychic mediums, we have animal empaths, we have witches, we have all kinds of things. So none of them are bad unless they decide to turn that way. So it's kind of their, it depends on which way they want to go with that.
It's kind of like your intention. So what I tell people when people say, okay, you're a witch. And so some people identify maybe as a healer, or they'll say healer, or they'll say a shaman, or different terms.
Right.
And me, I'm a witch. But okay, so what else? Okay, you're a psychic medium. Yes, I'm a psychic. And, and then people say, well, what can you do? And then I have to kind of go down the list of kind of what I do. And so, there's all these titles. Right. But, a witch to me, and, what I feel in my soul was that she was your healer. She was, or he. There are some male witches
Right.
out there too. Primarily, they've always been women, but I have a few males in my genealogy that were witches too, which is
So,
pretty cool.
so how far back does that genealogy for witches go in your family? Do you know?
I've traced it back into 2 generations back after the Mayflower into England.
Okay.
One of
So,
my uncles, I can't think of his name now because I don't have it pulled up on my thing, but he actually knew we were going to have the Revolutionary War, who was going to win, and it's actually documented in history,
oh, outstanding.
which is pretty cool. I just thought it was awesome to see like a male in my line
Yeah, that
have
is
that
really cool.
ability, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, that is really cool. A couple more people coming in. I wanted to give them shout outs. This is Patricia, another Patricia. She says watching and sharing, but we call her mom. Everyone calls her mom. She has way too many kids she knows what to do with. She's actually the next person, Dom's mom. Dom's one of the owners of the BB3 TV network, and she is really good at popping into everything we do and supporting us and everything else. So I always give a shout out to her. And
That's
Dom, thanks
awesome.
for
We love
watching.
moms. We need
Yeah,
moms.
exactly. And they're the ones who actually keep us straight. So
They do. They take that wooden spoon out.
right. So William does have a question for you. This is William Nighthawk, the same guy you just saw
Yeah.
last week. Did you learn from your mom or a mainstream method?
So I didn't really learn from anyone, except my grandmother just, encouraging me and telling me I had abilities. I don't think a lot of my abilities she really even understood, but she always gave me guidance, always gave me books, and I would read them. One of my main people was Lori Cabot. She'd bring me back books because, Lori Cabot, she's one of my mentors and teachers now. She's 88, I believe. And, she was out there doing it. She was out there you know, being a fabulous woman, being a witch on the
Kind of
street,
leading the way. So
you know. But my mom, I think it kind of jumped over her.
yeah, yeah. It's weird how that happens with families sometimes because a lot of people here know because a lot of people, the ones I'm seeing pop in right now are people who know me and they've watched a bit. But I'm the first person that I know of in my family that has connected to this side. And I didn't figure it out until about a year ago and it just jumped at me. So it's weird how it kind of, I don't know if I can go back and check, but I know I have a lot of Native American in my past.
Yeah.
So maybe someone back there was a shaman, I'm not sure. But it's weird how it just seems to jump or skip or just people just don't open up to it in the family. So maybe they don't even know or it hasn't been talked about.
Well, I think the genealogy aspect of it is amazing, but then we also have our soul, and we are reincarnated souls. So
Right.
you may have been a medicine man or woman in a past life, and so in this life, your soul still carries those secrets.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's trying to because you can think it's a new life, a new body, a new program.
Yeah.
So your soul's highlighting and saying, "Oh, you like this, and then you go and experience it.
Right.
So in this life, it's a first, but in past lives, it's not.
Yeah.
So it's like taking that ancient knowledge and it's coming, teaching. It's like teaching someone to walk all over again. They've already walked. They, have something that happens to them, and then they have to learn to rewalk.
Yeah, that's been talked about before with me, saying you've always known this, you've done this for many lifetimes, which is why it just came flooding back so easily to you because it's like second nature to you. And Mr. Nighthawk did make a very nice comment. He said, "Whew, so glad Rocky is not a baddie. I've had enough of that growing up."
Nope, I'm not bad. I always say we ebb and flow in the yin and the yang of things. So, if I were to sit here and tell all of you, I'm lovely rainbows and butterflies, I would be lying to you.
She has been with me so far, so just let you know the discussions with us have been outstanding. So
so
I haven't seen that dark side, so let's not ever see that side.
When people talk about dark and light, I do work in the dark, and
right.
A lot of people don't understand that, and until they meet me and they have issues or have things going on in their home or around them. But I work in the dark to bring the light is what I do, and I'm comfortable with that. So when we talk about working in the dark, you know, a lot of people think it's like black magic and this and stuff. But what we do and what we've done in the past in magic in general was called alchemy, and then it was called the black arts, right? Because it was against, you know,
right.
Christianity and things
Against
like that.
religion, right? Yep. So yeah, a lot of people associate dark and light with evil and good for some reason. They don't understand that's not how that works. So you did say something earlier in your introduction when you were talking about your grandma, and I want you to kind of expand on that too, because, and you even talked about it, the Crafty Witch name for your hats. Can you describe your hats and how that came about?
So I went to Salem, Massachusetts, probably about 6 months after I had my daughter Isabella, which was about 9 years ago, and I wanted to.
Oh, hold on. Losing you for a second.
Right, so let's
So
just go.
Stand by.
I'm gonna make a witch chat, and you know, I was looking on.
Yeah, we're losing her, folks. So hopefully she'll be able to connect back up. I don't think she can see our messaging because she's actually in a car and she's driving. So
they were all like, they were just okay. They were just not good. Am I still here?
Okay, Roxanne.
Okay, wait, got this.
You are now. Okay. But guess what? We did not hear you from the beginning of your story.
Are we going backwards because they're losing me?
Hello.
Okay, so hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Perfect.
So unfortunately, you got to do that whole thing again because I lost you from the beginning. So
okay, so we're talking about the witch hat.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I went to Salem, and I couldn't find a hat, so I said to my friend, "I'm gonna." Hello.
Dang it, people! We're gonna get the story about this hat sooner or later. I swear.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so so I decided to go to Salem. I told my friend, I'm like, we're gonna go. I want to go, like, you know, because I haven't been there. You know, I was pregnant, so I said, but I want to make a witch hat. And well, I didn't say I wanted to make a witch hat. I said I need to find a witch hat, and I looked and looked and looked online, and I just didn't find one that was like cute. They were just, you know,
just
ugly. I'm gonna be honest. You know, so what I did is I bought a base witch hat and I ripped it apart, and then I added all stuff on top of it and sewed ribbons and all kinds of things, and I wore it to Salem. And when I wore it to Salem, I had this one woman said she'd buy it off my head for $300. She's like, I'll buy it for $100. I'll buy it for this. I'll buy it for that. And I said, no, I'm not selling it. And that was kind of like the aha moment where I was like, oh my God, I need to make witch hats, because we looked everywhere in Salem and there was no witch hats. Like, they just had the base that was like the stupid satin ones. And, you know, I shouldn't say stupid satin ones, but any girl out there was trying to look for a witch hat, they know what I'm talking about. They're very hard to find something that is pretty and not green face witch style.
Right.
You know, fabulous witch style.
Yes.
So I just started creating them, and then I went down to Salem with my first hat. I went to Lori Cabot's store with the intention of hopefully they would take them and sell them. And they did. And Lori Cabot's daughter bought my first hat.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So hold on, we got a couple other people pop in. Rob B3 popped in. What's up, Rob? How you doing? Rob's actually on my paranormal investigation team, so he's part of my team right there. Bob Burnell's popping in saying, "Hey, what's up, Bob? How you guys doing?"
Hi, Bob.
Bobby Thomas is popping in. He's also on the Dimensional Encounters Paranormal as well. So that's another one from my team. So we have the three guys, and that's us right there. So they're all popping in to say hi. So that's very cool. So you, I want you to explain.
Awesome.
I want you to explain your. Um, so Paul is popping in with another message. Hey Roxanne, I'm sitting in my living room listening and knocking on my wall.
Sorry, Paula. Paula is one of my clients that I helped for a long time with some paranormal stuff that's been going on in our house for a while. So every time that she pops in to watch me on a live, she always gets the knocking on the wall. They're just letting you know that we're
That
we're
they're
tuning
watching
in.
Yeah, that they're watching.
She's got her antenna. She's a medium too.
Oh,
She just doesn't want it.
yeah, yeah. So earlier you talked about your store, and you and I talked offline before about your store. I want you to describe kind of what your store is. Your Bewitched to Situate, because I know you have like a special place back there set up for people to kind of come into. Oh, I may have lost her again. Looks like we lost her for a second. So stand by once more. Technical difficulties happen. Oh, there she is. I think.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask this question again.
That's far outside. I know. Hello?
I'm going to get situated.
I'm
like
back.
I said,
I'm
she's
here.
in a car.
Are we here? Okay.
So this is mobile. Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, guys. I know, and this looks really creepy too with like the dark light and the light.
I said it's just an
I
aura.
feel like I'm
creating.
doing one of those things with like the flashlight, the uplight from the flashlight, and you start
Tell
telling
the
like
scary
scary,
ghost story.
spooky stories. Yes.
So I did want you to talk about your actual store, the Bewitched to Situate, because you talk about how you have it set up and how people can come in and sit down. So I kind of want you to describe that area as well.
Okay. So my store is literally a house that was built in the 1780s, and it has like this old world charm to it, and I think it's pretty amazing because the person that this house was built was for Hopkins, which is a family ancestor of mine, which I didn't know, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And when you walk into my store, it's just a very homey feeling. You walk into a living room area and you can sit there and you can have tea. It's an open library. You can read books on anything spiritual, or I have a lot of science, history, like occult knowledge, things like that. And then I have my room where I do my readings and my energy healing upstairs and astrology and all kinds of things. And then you go into the kitchen and it's all herbs hanging dried, like you're truly walking into a witch's kitchen.
Right.
And then towards the back, I have like the sunroom area, and that's where I have a lot of different jewelry, stones, things like that. And I also bring on a lot of young entrepreneurs. Like one of my youngest entrepreneur, she's in third grade, and she was a little witch that came in, and she was wearing these awesome earrings. And I said to her, "Oh my God, those earrings are amazing. Where'd you get them?" And she goes, "I made them." And she was like all in awe of the store. And so I said, "Well, do you want to sell them here?" So she came back with 4 sets of earrings, and she started her own little business, and she's in third grade.
Nice. Started her young. That's good.
Started young. I like to bring all the little witches in,
Well, that's good too.
And that's really what I'm here. My store really is a place. I say the store has its own magic, and people come in and they think they're coming in for one thing, and they end up coming in for a completely different thing.
Right.
And yeah, the store is bewitched itself,
Yeah, so I'm telling you, people, go out there. Let me pull this up again really quick. Go out to this location. Go out to this website. Go out to bewitchedsituate.com. And so one of the things that I do, I am very specific when I research my people that I want to bring on, that I want to talk to, and everything else. And I went out and I looked at her store. I read her story. But then I also read the reviews about the store, because no one's going to give me a more honest answer than people who are reviewing. If you've ever looked at anything from Yelp or Amazon or anything else. If they don't like it, they're going to let you know. If they do, they're going to let you know.
Yep.
She has nothing but 5 stars. All the comments are very positive. They're raving. They talk about how comfortable the store is, how authentic Roxanne is. They talk about so much that is just such a positive light that it's almost like you're drawn. And take the time when you go out to the site to click on absolutely everything that's in there, because she has so much that's in there that every single link in there that you click on that is about her store or about her, you're going to learn something new. You're not gonna come across something you've already known. You may know a little bit of it, but when you read about it, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, that was really cool. I didn't know about that." And you're gonna understand how comfortable and how relaxing and how calming and how loving her store is to the people who go there and just sit and just read and just want to be around the store, because it is such that calming effect. So I do want to show William Nighthawk has he asked, do you read tea leaves?
Yes, I read. I can read anything.
There you go. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you guys go out there and read her bio, whew, it is in depth.
Yeah. People always say, like, can you read tea leaves? Can you read this? Can you read that? I was doing a tarot class one time, and I was teaching my girls how to read tarot. And one of the exercises one night was, okay, here's some thimbles, here are some herbs, and each one went around. I said, grab what you're drawn to, and I want you to throw it on the table, and you're going to read it. And this one woman who had a very difficult time reading tarot because she was so like literal, like she was memorizing what all the cards meant and everything, and I was really trying to get her to like break out and connect to her like consciousness.
Right.
She grabbed roses and she threw them on the table, and she gave the best reading she has ever given. Because what happened was I took the actual item of a card where she thinks this means this and this means this based on what the tarot is designed. Right. But not every tarot card is so literal. Do you understand?
Right.
So yeah. So if you are connecting as a psychic, you can read anything.
Okay. That's new to me. So see, like that. Just learned something new. See that? Still learning all of her stuff. So
that's right. And that's a cool exercise to do too.
Patricia, Mom, her store is in Scituate, Rhode Island, right? Is that correct?
Yep, Scituate, Rhode Island.
Scituate, Rhode Island. But again, you can go out online. You can kind of look through it. I believe you actually have email that they can contact you through, I believe.
Yep, Bewitched of Scituate.
Yep. So if you want to email her, she can send you specifics about the store or about her if she's open to that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so feel free to reach out and talk to her, ask her questions, whatever else. Yep. William said he can also read the tea leaves, so he thought that was kind of cool. So William is.
Oh, so William can read tea leaves?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So he should try reading bottle caps and different things.
William, do you read other things besides tea leaves? Not the bottom side of the bottom of a beer bottle.
Yeah, you could do that too.
But yeah, talking to William as well, he's kind of, to me, he's got a lot of similarities to you, to where he just does so much. I haven't been able to sit down and read all of his stuff, but he is nice enough to send me a podcast, so I started doing that. But yeah, I just want to, with your stuff, I just want to keep going out there and reading more. So I'm trying to find more, and I think I've read. I mean, I think I broke the internet trying to find all the stuff that you do. So
it's a lot. I do a lot of house. I know you're talking about a lot of your paranormal people are on.
Yep.
So a lot of people ask me all the time. I get tons of emails, and if you go to my site, there actually is Bewitched After Dark Paranormal. So if you click on that, you'll see some of the things that I've been on before.
Right. Yeah.
As a medium to help with certain locations and things like that. But my main thing is to help people live their best life through spirituality, through knowing that there is spirits around them. And when people talk about getting rid of them and doing this, Okay, yes. But I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, it's because someone in the house is open
Right.
and spirit looks at that as a telephone. You remember we used to have the telephone booths and you have
Yep.
to go and put a quarter in or a dime in. That's
Yep.
what your highlighter. So I find when you go in these houses, you're going to find from a psychological standpoint and a spiritual standpoint why there's activity.
Okay. So William does say, yep, he does coyote bones and chicken bones reads as well.
Awesome.
William Nighthawk is Native American, and he has a long list of stuff. He does the paranormal, the cryptids, the UFOs, a lot of other stuff as well. So, like I said, it's a lot of similarities when I read your two stuff. Rob B3, my buddy Rob, asked a question, and I know what this is for. Do you have any advice for bringing gifts to the surface and developing them?
So, are you talking about wanting to have a gift and you don't have it and trying to bring it to the surface?
So, Rob, I'm going to step in and try to help explain this. Rob has gifts.
Yep.
He is our, when we go on investigations, he's our one that walks through the door and instantly gets all the chicken skin that he knows that something's there before we do. That's his trigger.
Okay.
He gets all the chicken skin. And he's also the one, it seems, that when a spirit wants something done, a prayer or something like that, they all call him the preacher. Like they'll say Rob Preacher, Rob Preacher. So, and sometimes they'll ask him to pray. But when he prays, other people in our group will see the blue or the white lights if it's for protection, if it's Archangel Michael or Gabriel or Raphael, whichever one he's praying to, a lot of us will see the light, but he doesn't. We know he has other gifts, but he doesn't. He hasn't fully brought them out, and he just doesn't know how. He's done meditation. He's done tons of reading. He's really done the due diligence and done the homework, but it's almost like, I don't know if it's something within him that's stopping him, or if it's just not coming through because he doesn't. We know he's an empath, but he does not.
Yep.
He does not like the E word, so he's not fully welcoming that part of him. So he may just have limitations on himself.
Yeah.
But we know he has more, and we just want him to be able to bring it out. And he's just asking for, how do I do this?
The one thing I would say is if, we talk about empath, I think he probably gets a little shy with that word because everyone throws it out. We actually all are empaths.
Right.
But there's different degrees, and it sounds like he works with a lot in his auric field, his energy field around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I work with people like this all the time. I would say, personally, if I were to give advice to anyone, find a mentor, find someone in your community, aka a village witch. I do Zoom. I will talk to him if he wants, like offline.
There you go, Rob.
And kind of give him one-on-one. I have to kind of be in his energy to see what is going on and what I can see so far as his abilities. Now, he may have abilities as he develops that come out later.
Right.
But what I do is I just kind of look at them, and then I can see what you have going on, and then I can work with it. It's kind of like dough. We can make a bread with it after. We got to find the dough,
right,
figure out what kind it is, and then we can work on it.
Yeah, because
then as you work on that, then what happens is it will start to grow.
Okay.
And then you'll see other things.
Yeah, so Rob, I'm recommending you to reach out to her. I was actually going to ask you about him because he is one of my teammates and he's family. I mean, my whole team we're just one big happy family. Dysfunctional, but we're happy. But I was going to ask you about him, so I'm glad he brought it up himself. But yeah, even Bobby says he's our light bringer, and then William even responds with, Rob has gifts he needs to develop. Even I can sense his gifts of spirit. So very true. We tell him this. He tries to deny it, but he knows he has it, but just in a joking way, he's like, I don't have anything, even though he knows he does. He just kind
Yeah.
of with it, but yeah, so it's just something that he needs to work on, and that we hope he does, and that we hope that maybe you can help him start the right direction. Bobby does say that his wife is a spirit magnet. His wife is also on our team. Her name is Jessie.
Yep.
She is a spirit magnet, and she really is. They seem to be drawn to her. She actually has a. I hope we're okay with this, Bobby, but I'm selling secrets here. She actually has a elemental that is with her all the time. So, we've made it.
Hello?
Oh, there
Can
you
you hear
are.
me?
Yep, yep, we can hear you. Can
Sorry,
you
I
hear
had to
me?
plug in the phone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, his wife Jessie actually has an elemental that is with her at all times, and it's not malicious, it's not violent, it's nothing. It's almost like a spirit guide. I believe it is a spirit guide, but it's an elemental that she has with her at all times. So she is very much a spirit magnet. It seems that when we're around, a lot of stuff seems to get drawn in when she's there. So it's very cool to have her with that. Roxanne, Paula gives you another shout out. Says Roxanne is wonderful. She's helped me so much with my ghosts.
Thank you,
Yeah, they're
Paula.
still knocking on the walls, letting you know you're watching.
It sounds like that's right.
Oh,
That's right. The one that's in your group that you said is like a light bringer.
yep.
He may be that person too. That really what he does, he sends out that energy, that magnetic field. So
Mm-hmm.
it protects you guys in a sense. Because when you're on, as you know, paranormal investigations,
Right.
you're walking into different places, and it's fine when we're walking around because there's ghosts and spirit around us all the time. But when you walk into a room and you're provoking, even if you're provoking in a really nice way,
Right.
you need to make sure that you know that you're going into a sandbox,
Right.
and
Yep.
you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So it sounds like he's the feeling I get from him is he's a healer. Like a lot of his energy comes from his hands.
Yeah. Like I said, he is definitely the one that when stuff starts to go a little sideways, he's the one who starts calling down the prayers for Archangel Michael to come protect us and others to look over us and stuff like that. So he's definitely that person when things start to go a little wonky. So
Yep.
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 So that's good. So you look like you were saying something. I don't know.
we can talk about some things. A lot of times, and I'm dealing with this now because, like I said, I'm coming back from Block Island. I'll be the witch on the block. So Bewitched on the Block will be on Block Island. So anybody who's a Rhode Islander knows about that. I'll be there this summer. But we were going through my descriptions and my things, and one of the things that people don't realize, especially when they go looking for, a spiritual person or a healer or a reader, they don't understand what the different breakdowns are.
Okay.
I always tell everyone, make sure you do your homework before you go speak to someone, because when someone gives you a reading, if you're coming for guidance, you're really going to take that literally.
Right.
So it's really important that you do your homework on anybody that you're going to give you advice in your life that you're going to hopefully use. Some people may walk out of reading and go, that person's crazy. But there are a lot of people that won't do that. They'll actually literally take everything you say. So it's really important that you do your homework and make sure you get someone that,
right,
is not taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
But when we talk about, I know, is it what's his name? Whitehawk?
William Nighthawk, yeah.
William Nighthawk. I don't know why I was saying Whitehawk. But people, what I find is that people say, when they'll come in for a reading, and I'm a medium, so I see their deceased loved ones, we're talking about that, and then I tell them like things that are happening in their present, going on in their life, and then things that are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I find is they're like, oh, well, you didn't turn a tarot card. And I'm like, well, I don't need to
You're
turn a
like,
tarot
well,
card, you know?
right,
So, but there are some people that literally just want a tarot reading. So, like, they think if you don't flip those tarot cards, you're not giving that, they may love the reading,
right,
but there's some kind of nostalgic thing with
right.
flipping the tarot cards.
Yeah,
So, like, no matter what I do, even if I'm not reading the cards, I always flip cards, and it also is a meditative thing for me. But I put them down because it's actually, people look for it. So I
right,
always say, if you're looking for a tarot reading is someone who actually flips cards and reads the cards and the energy around them and off the cards. Then
right,
there's a psychic who will pick up the energy and see everything without, like I said, can read anything, right?
right.
They don't need like a tool. The tool
Yeah,
is the energy. And then there's
yeah,
a medium who connects with the energy of deceased beings, and that could also be animals. Like, I'm an animal communicator, so I can communicate with animals that are living and deceased. But
okay,
not all mediums can do that.
right. Yeah, like I said, I'm still pretty new at this, and I don't do anything with animals in any way, shape, or form outside of pet them. Yep, you're a good animal. That's
Yeah,
about it. Yeah, like I said,
animals were my living animals. The first time I ever channeled an animal was a horse.
okay.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. I thought I
Yeah,
was nuts, but that's okay.
yeah. My wife and I actually went to one of my coworkers' houses, and they have horses. And it was funny because you mentioned that I am not an animal empath in any way, shape, or form. But when I was with the horses, they all wanted to walk with me. Like they just stayed right in my
Yeah,
area. They did not want to leave. I mean, we were with the owners and everything else, and they didn't care about them. They wanted to kind of all hang out with me. So
yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
they
they
did.
were drawn to your energy, so animals can sense and feel that.
Right. Yeah. So that was so I'm gonna ask you a couple of the standard questions that people get asked.
Sure.
But because you go on investigations, you've done investigations. How do you feel about equipment, like electrical equipment, like spirit boxes and stuff like that? How do you feel about people using those on paranormal investigations? Do you believe in those? Do you just feel that
Uh,
you don't need it, or
I, I, how do I? The human needs it. The human needs it,
okay,
right? So I find that those spirit boxes and things like that um, do work because energy. They're working off electrical energy. Um, you know, so what I find is that you can utilize those tools. I'm not, I wouldn't bash those tools. If they work for you, they work for you. Like I said, if it's me personally, if I'm in a group of people and we're in a paranormal investigation, I think they're great for people,
okay,
that want to hear. I hear spirit. Some
right,
people who don't, it gives them the opportunity to.
right,
So I think it's a great thing for that. For me personally, I think it's a distraction
right.
because I've actually programmed spirit boxes to say my name
Mm.
with my mind.
Okay,
So, even with like pendulums, so for me, it's not an accurate tool because I know I can manipulate it.
right,
So I think what a lot of people do, and you'll see that in investigations, they'll be like, why is the spirit said my name? Like they'll say your first and last name. Have you ever experienced that?
right. Yeah, yep.
Okay. It's because you are projecting that out
Okay,
and the box is picking it up.
okay. So I want to say hi really quick to Joni. Hi, Joni. It's okay. I understand. Life happens. Um, but then I want to go on to a Zhang because she has a question, a couple of them for you. Have you ever helped someone who was affected by black magic or location filled that energy? How do you deal with it? Does the negative energy they have an impact on your body?
Okay, so I'll break this down. Have you ever helped someone who was affected by black magic? Yes. Um, what
That,
I find,
that answer,
once they are, I know they're affected by it. And really, black magic, it's just what we call ill intent. It's all about your intentions. So someone put an intention out on someone continuously of bad juju, saying things with your breath. When people talk about spells and witchcraft and everything you say, even if you get mad at someone or cut someone off and say something, that's a spell. You're putting that out in the universe. So a lot of people are affected by that because they truly believe that once they feel like they have it, then they manifest it even more. So what I try to do is when they come in, I give them Reiki. I help, that transfer of energy. It's kind of, I always say it's like Lioness from, what is it, Charlie Brown? He walked around and he had the blanket and all the dirt around him.
Yeah.
It can be removed. And then it's just helping the person realize that their mind is the most powerful weapon. So once they realize that this effect has no effect on them anymore, you'll start to see it subside. And that's where you bring in an energy worker to help move, like clean, almost like, we clean our counters, we do laundry, like, cleaning the auric field, cleaning the energy. And it does have an impact on my body. Yes. I found different ways and techniques. I used to channel it all in. And then I would have my Reiki practitioners come and give me Reiki. And I usually need 3 or 4 practitioners because one practitioner, they feel sick after giving me Reiki. Right. So now we do multiple, but it's just because I work in that energy every day, and this is what I do every day. So, and then I found my own ways of releasing it through my own self practices.
Okay.
So I have like a method I call the teacup method, which is putting one hand on me and then putting one down and allowing that energy to flow through my hand and out the other versus my whole body. And I even do that with people that have a lot of stuff going on in their auric fields in a healing session.
Cool. How do you feel about crystals? Are you a believer in crystals? Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a believer in all living things. I've used plant energy in healing sessions. I've actually saw the plant, and I've showed my students the plant energy coming off the plant into the body of a client. I've showed them how 2 plants can, neutralize each other's energy, or try to kill each other, basically. And
like beta fish.
Crystals, yes, have a frequency and a vibration. It's science. I mean, this is science. Everything in life has a life force, right? So crystals do. And, I see a lot of practitioners going, oh my God, this crystal's so pretty. Oh my God, this crystal's so pretty. And they're putting it all over someone on a healing session. I'm like, okay, let's do the science math here. Do you understand how much energy you just put on someone in those areas? Do they have a heart problem? If they have a pacemaker, if they have certain things, you can't put certain crystals, especially clear quartz crystals, on their chest because that's going to activate more energy, and their heart pacemaker actually has quartz in it. So, when people talk about stones and crystals, they're like, oh, it's just crystals. It's no harm. Yes, you can. So yes, I believe in the power very much of crystals and plants and all living things. So you got to be intuitive to really, I remember I had a practitioner put a bunch of amethyst on me. I thought I was going to die.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, but it's amethyst. Everyone loves amethyst. I'm like,
right.
You put literally, there was a huge amethyst underneath the bed. Maybe 20 stones of amethyst all around me. Those she was going to give me the most amazing experience ever. I was like, I'm going to die right now. What do you have on me?
Right.
It was the frequency was too much for me.
Right.
And then as she pulled some off, I was like, oh, okay, now that feels better. And we worked through it. And she's like, oh my God, I never thought of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you overdosed me on amethyst.
That's my birthstone, so.
Yeah, see, I can tell you're an amethyst.
Yeah. Yep. So apparently
I'm a diamond, so I like coal.
Oh, yeah. So apparently I need to find a house by you somewhere because my wife says I want to live by Roxanne and go to her classes. So apparently we're heading that way.
I'll have a lot of my classes. Even I'm starting to bring people back into the shop for classes. COVID's still a little crazy and scary these days.
Yep.
But I do a lot of Zoom classes, so she can join any of my classes anytime.
Okay. All right, Nick, you heard that.
You just got to follow me.
You just go out there and follow her. You'll see where they're at. Oh, I had a question. I forgot.
I do a lot of one-on-ones too. I like to do a lot of one-on-ones. So if someone wants guidance, they have gifts. I do classes where I talk about the witch in you and just like on a broad spectrum. But if you're truly looking to work in this field and really open your gifts, a one-on-one session is the best.
Right.
Just because everyone has their own unique gifts. So to really help someone in the field, I feel like you have to work with them one-on-one.
Right. So my question is, how do you find the time? Because you're very busy. You're
Well, time is one of those things. It doesn't really exist, but it does, right?
right. Yes. At some point, your body has to shut down though and go rest.
Yes. So what I try to do is I'll put them like all on one day and do like 15, 20 minutes, 30-minute sessions.
Okay.
So I know like on Tuesday is, all my clients of people that want me to help them spiritually.
Right.
That's how it works in my ADHD mind.
Do you work with numerology at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I have had a couple of questions about numerology. So I don't know if you can just give a very basic, vague overview of what numerology is for the layman terms, because I have had some people ask. So I don't know if you're able to do that now, or if you want them to contact you afterwards, or what do you want them to do?
Well, I mean, I could talk a little about numerology. Numerology has obviously obviously all about numbers.
Right.
And numbers have a significance, and they have a mathematical concoction, right? And through numerology, you do a lot of adding, separating, and adding again, and they're supposed to be like building blocks. Now,
okay.
When we talk about, the number, if you're a number 1, so that's new beginning, self-starter. 2 is, kind of like that yin and yang. 2 roads, kind of, you always, looking for, you have to pick a direction.
Okay.
4 is foundation. So if you're a number 4, you're someone who needs a lot of foundation in what you do. You go out and you do something. You gotta have footing. You're not just,
right.
going, I'm just gonna go do this, and however it works.
You have to have a purpose behind it.
You have to have a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done the little things online, and it's identified me as a 5. I mean, because of my birthday and stuff like that, it's broken me down as a 5. So that's mine. So, but yes. So if you're interested in that, again, something else she does, you can turn to her and ask the question. Like I said, she's got an email, and she'll talk to you. This is why I love her so much, because she just does this. And like I said, for me, I was amazed that she said yes, because she saw a furry guy with a mohawk asking her to be on a show, and she said yes. So
I was like, heck yeah! How could I not? You got a Superman shirt on.
Thank you. Yeah, and a bunch of it behind me. So
I love
it. Yeah. I was gonna ask you something, and I don't remember what it was. It's driving me nuts, because it was a while ago when we were talking crystals and stuff like that, and I just can't remember. Are you comfortable enough? So there's something that you and I talked about. I'm gonna do my best to not talk about it until you say yes or no. If you're not comfortable about it.
Yeah.
There was something that you dealt with that was very evil, that you said if no one has dealt with it before, they have no idea what it is. You know what I'm talking about?
The exorcism you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Are you comfortable with talking about that?
Yeah, that was on Palm Sunday, everyone.
So as I say, if you're comfortable with talking about that, I'm sure others would love to hear about it.
Yes. So what actually brought me into the paranormal world was that experience. So I had a Reiki class, and one of my students was a 16-year-old girl, and I noticed some things kind of were going on around her spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on Palm Sunday, and she kept walking out of my store saying, I feel sick, I feel this, and a bird hit my window and died, and all kinds of craziness. And I looked at one of my Reiki students. Well, she was going to be my second Reiki Master Teacher in Reiki, so she was in the class, kind kind of seeing it from really bird's eye view from a teacher perspective. And she looked at me, and she knows the stuff that I deal with, and she looked at me and I looked at her, and we're like, really, Palm Sunday?
Right.
And so I'm like, I just knew there was a darkness around her, and I'm like, okay, well, when I go to do her attunement, that's when I'll kind of handle it. I didn't realize exactly what that darkness was until we did go in to do the attunement. And when I did, it was interesting because 3 Native American men actually walked in my room spiritually and then stood in front of the door. Oh. And then I remember seeing things like running all around my room from the outside. Like they couldn't come in because I put a shield up.
Right.
And I gave her an attunement, and make a long story short, her eyes started rolling back in her head. I had other students here. Okay. And two of my Reiki Master teachers that were studying from a teacher perspective.
Right.
And it's interesting because my son was at church, like literally altar serving and coming down, trying to tie a palm. It was Palm Sunday.
Right.
And he normally would give the palm to someone, that walks in that didn't get one, but he kept hearing Spirit tell him, no, you have to keep it. So my son listened, and he's walking, and he couldn't tie it the whole time. So that's a little side note. So we're in this Reiki room, and I tell everyone to get off, the space where they were sitting. And I had a Reiki bed in there. And I looked at her, and I pulled everyone off. I said, everyone, and it was weird because I was in this calm. There was no panic that happened. Yeah. I was like, everyone was done with their attunement. I said, everyone needs to come stand over here. And all of a sudden I seen her eyes roll back, and then I seen like her eyes look black. Like there was no pupil, no, like I call them like coins. Right. And then I laid her on my Reiki bed. And then I just started, I don't even know, I couldn't even tell you, like I'd have to like psychically go back and like remote view it to tell you what exactly happened. But I was at her crown chakra, at her head, and I was giving her Reiki, but not Reiki. And I had all this energy and these light beings come from behind me. And then all of a sudden I looked down, and I see in her eyes, it looked like, when I say amber, it was almost like it was alive. I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but the eyes were not eyes.
Right. Yeah.
There was like, like a molting, like transition to it.
Huh.
And so I start doing the St. Benedict prayer in Latin. All this stuff I had just acquired probably about a week or two ago, like dirt from the Holy Land, all kinds of stuff. Because people bring me, I love different dirts and different things from different places for magical purposes. And I just started pulling this stuff from her stomach that looked like tar. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And I had other Reiki practitioners in the room, and they're just holding their hands up to hold space. She went from like 100 and something degrees to like 0 degrees. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I put the dirt on her wrist, burnt marks in her skin. So, like not like 2nd degree burns, I think, but when you like slightly burn yourself on a pan, you hit it really quick, and then you got that little red mark.
Yeah.
Okay. And now at this time, I'm pulling, and Spirit tells me stop. And I'm getting nervous now too at this point, because her frequency of her body temperature was going literally like 103, 104. Like I've never seen anything like it in her color, and then dropping.
Right.
So Spirit tells me to stop, and I literally pulled like there was like a little bit left in there, and they just told me to stop, and I stopped. And then all of a sudden her eyes went back to normal. I take her in the bathroom. She's like dry heaving, puking. Right. Her mom happens to be right now. I had a store that was split, so like 2 different sides. And I walked over and I started talking to her mom, and I had the other practitioners who were with her. And I said, I need you to come over here, because I didn't even have time to ask her mom for permission. Like it was just intuitive instinct. And like DEFCON 5. Like you walk into a burning building, what are you going to do?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And so I bring her when I talk to her about like what just happened. And she's like, oh yeah, you know, we took her to the hospital. I think she was having these, she goes, she would like her eyes, everything she did, she was doing at home, and it was like gradually happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors didn't know what it was.
Right. They wouldn't.
So, you know, I explained to her, I said, I'm not a priest. You know, I've never experienced this ever in my life. But I know what I dealt with, and I know what I saw. And your daughter needs someone who does this for like an exorcist, like a professional, like go to the church, find someone.
Right.
You know, I was trying to help her find someone, because does that make sense? Like I felt like the can wasn't empty.
Right. Right. Yep.
And so she did. And, you know, couldn't find the person to help, this and that. Long story short, I've helped the girl now for many years.
Okay.
I'm not going to air. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I went searching for a demonologist. I went to a Paracon here in Rhode Island, and I said, I'm going to go get a booth because I need to find me a demonologist, you know, because
Right.
I want to know more about this. Like, I've seen these things. I've never removed one like that before ever in my life. I've never experienced that. Yeah. Well, he's a demonologist, but he's never seen eye to eye with a demon like I did. So I'm still looking for someone who's, you know, who's done it. And so, like, everyone that's watching is like saying, oh, you know, I need someone to guide me and help me. You know, every time these gifts or these things happen, we're always looking for someone else that might have experienced, so then we can have that like conversation. It's really important.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Yep. So my crew here is listening. So if any of you know of someone who is a demonologist that has actually dealt with an exorcism on a person, reach out. Have them reach out to Roxanne so she can actually talk to the person. We thought we had someone earlier, but it was not a human exorcism. It was a home exorcism. So it was a little different. So I would like to find her somebody, if we can find somebody for Roxanne to actually reach out and talk to. That would be fantastic. We have a huge outreach here between everyone who's watching now live and everybody who I know will be watching recorded. You know how to get a hold of me. I have email. You guys just reach out to my BB3 channel and get a hold of me there, or go out to Roxanne. Oh, let me throw this up. I only have your Bewitched ones. I don't have your personal one. But you can, if you go out to bewitchedsituate.com, all of her information on how to contact Roxanne is actually out there. So you'll be able to reach out to her and give her the name and information for the person as well. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Rob says he is listening intently. So, and William said, long ago we used to be able to talk to the animals. It's oral tradition. So,
yep, I communicate with all living things, and that's why I always knew it was different. You know, when I used to tell people all the time, like, oh yeah, you know, the rain's coming, this is coming. How do you know that? I'm like, well, the trees told me. And everyone used to look at me when I was younger, like I was crazy. I'm like, no, they really did. You know, and they're actually scientifically proven that trees do communicate through fungus.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So I was picking up on it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know it's going to rain because it sets my migraines off because the barometric pressure changes. But
yep.
But yeah, I get that. Probably 24 to 48 hours in advance, I know it's going to rain because my pressure changes. So something's telling me.
You're a little weather detector.
Right. It's terrible to have in the state of Nebraska where the weather changes like 6 times in a 24-hour period.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, I really like that story. I think that's, unless anyone else has any questions or have anything else, I think that's a great place to stop.
Okay.
I
do apologize for the travel.
Oh no, that just made it more interesting.
I know, I look like, you know.
I actually kind of liked it. Like I said, it kind of created that aura of mystery with that light behind you and the shade around you and everything else. So, um, and then making sure that the drivers were doing what the drivers were doing. No, people, for those of you who came on late, she is not driving and talking. She's actually a passenger.
I'm a passenger in the back. They're driving Miss
Yes.
Daisy.
Yes, exactly. But I do want to share with everyone again, one last time, Bewitched to Situate, bewitchedtosituate.com. Go out there, take a look at it. You will be amazed by what you find out there just simply reading through it. I was. And make sure you go out there. If you have questions, reach out to her. She already stated that she's willing to answer questions and to help where she can. She does do hats. Remember, the hats are Crafty Witches. That's the name of them. I am actually going to, after this show, be posting images that she sent me of the hats. So that way you all can look at them. I'm going to post them up on BB3 TV. She sent me, I think, 3 or 4 different hats, maybe 5, but there's like 8 pictures.
There are the ones I sent you are sold. So if someone goes, I want this one or that one, those are just examples of ones that for people.
Right. Patricia saying, great show. Thanks, Patricia. Much love. Nicole's as well. Amazing show. Love listening to you, Roxanne. You're amazing.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yep. And Rob's saying thank you. He hopes that you guys can talk soon.
Yes. Have him send me a message and we'll connect.
I will. So yes, I will do that. But I want to thank you very much for being on my show. I am hoping you will do it again.
Absolutely.
At a later date. I'm intrigued. I know I'm going to find more when I go out there and start reading more. So I'm going to go see what I can find and make sure I write down my questions so I don't forget them like I did earlier tonight. But no, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. I'm gonna push you backstage, but I want you to stay there if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to you afterwards a little bit. But everyone, say goodnight to Roxanne. It was a pleasure having you on there. Go out and look at her stuff. Doing it again because I want to. bewitchedtosituate.com. Reach out to her. Go look at her stuff. Read through everything. Like I said, best way to find out of somebody, read the reviews. You'll be amazed at how her reviews read because they're all awesome. So, like I said, I'll be right back with you. But thank you for being on the show, and I will talk to you in a second. Okay, so that's my show. Stuff I never learned from a school book. We once again ran over our hour, which is kind of typical. But when you have guests on like that, you always seem to run long, and it's perfectly cool to do that. I want to thank BB3 TV for allowing me to do that. They kind of let me run whatever because some reason you people keep wanting to watch. But anyway, Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book is on BB3 TV. I am also part of a group called Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. Go out there and check that out. We are on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. I'll actually start putting those links up as well. But here's our Facebook link for those of you who want to go take a look at it. We have videos out there and everything else. So feel free to go out there, comment, reach out to us. And again, here is ours, facebook.com, BB3TV. I want you all to like, enjoy, share. I really appreciate everyone being here. I love all of you coming in and making comments and having comments. Thanks to Zhang. Appreciate it. William, much love, brother. I'll let her know. In fact, that she can see it or she knows it because she can hear me talking right now. And good night, Zhang. But yes, thank you for coming on. Next Monday, I will have. Next Monday, I will not be here because that is Valentine's Day, and I am married, and I know better than to run a show on Valentine's Day. So I will not be here on the 14th. I will go ahead and let people know that in a message in case those who don't get a look at it really quick. But on the 21st, I will have another guest, and I will be posting that one on the 17th as well. I'll start running information on that one. Other than that, have a great night. I love you all very much. Y'all have a great night. Thanks.